a more fit, toned physique. And that's where strength, you develop that lean muscle. So, those sexy muscles that women love to have, that's how you do it with strength training. And the cardio that you would do is HIIT cardio.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast, your source for living a healthier lifestyle and developing a better mind, body, and soul. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful fitness gurus, athletes, and individuals who are passionate about enhancing all aspects of life, we provide you with the tools to help you take your lifestyle to another level. And now your host, Quinn Mitchell.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. This is your host, Quinn Mitchell, and today I have a very special guest, Chibby Oparaocha. He is a worldwide online personal coach and the owner and founder of BodyByChibby LionHearted Lifestyle. How you doing, my friend?
What's going on? I'm doing good, man.
Good to have you on the show. So for people that don't know about you, would you like to give a brief explanation about yourself, introduction?
Okay, so I'm Chibby, owner of BodyByChibby and LionHearted Lifestyle. It's all about transforming, helping you evolve from unfit to lean, toned, confident with high energy. So it's all about getting to that best self. So a little bit about me, where I start, like my background. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. So a little bit about me, my whole journey was fitness to me. It first started as, an escape. It was like, it helped me with stress. It helped me when, you feel down, depressed. And that was just my first escape. Right. And I started taking it more seriously back in, high school, like when I was doing track and field.
Mm-hmm.
I took it more seriously when I got to college due to the fact that, I had turmoil, struggles, financially, things like that. And my escape was always gym. And from there, 2016 is when my brand started growing as people started asking me for tips and things like that. And, on my personal fitness journey I started back in, 2012. I was a little guy. I was like 150, and I always wanted to, get lean, get more muscular, just improve. So till today, I'm roughly at 230 right now. So I ate at 80 pounds, right? And I've also gone through like fat loss phases where I fell off a little bit and I needed to learn how to get back on track. So I got to research and learned, the best methods to lose fat, which brings me to where I am today, where I help people not only lose fat, but really focus on the mindset of becoming that best version of themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's not all fat, it's more so mindset.
Mm-hmm. So bring it back to 2012. What motivated you really? Like, what did you just wake up in the morning and think, I just want to get bigger, or was it something that somebody said to you?
Actually, I've always been small growing up, and back in 2012, I was actually when I first started track and field, and I actually did like the field events where it's like shot put, discus, and those dudes are like 200 pounds, and they told me that I wouldn't make it in this. And I'm always the type of person, like, you gonna tell me something, I know that I can put
Yeah.
So then I did that, and then I was like, I gained like 20 pounds in one summer because I was just eating calories, learning about how to, muscle growth, how that works. And I did that, and I just stayed consistent with it and stayed consistent with training. I could think I was kind of rigorous. I trained like 6-7 days a week. Like just like that, so I use that doubt as motivation and fuel, whereas other people might use people talking bad about them and let it get to them. I use that as fuel to my fire. And then I just kept doing that, progressing year after year.
Yes, sir. Now, when people look at your journey, they might say 80 pounds, like he did that all naturally. And that might be hard for them to believe. But could you tell us about how you did that, gain the weight just naturally? Because I know somebody like myself playing basketball is like, I always would gain the pounds in the off season. Then when the season would come, I lose it all. I go back to my natural weight. Could you talk about how you could just sustain that weight?
Yeah, so I actually had a fast metabolism. Like I did super high calories. So I was eating roughly, because I was around like 5'10" at the time. I'm like 6'3", 6'4" now. But I was eating roughly 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day. right? And that was before I had the understanding of the macro breakdowns, like eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, things like that. It was just, I was going on a just calories in, calories out standpoint. So I knew that if I eat too much calories, I'll be in a caloric surplus, which is more calories than you burn. That way it'll be easier for me to gain weight while I'm also putting on lean muscle mass. So I got a little bit, due to my metabolism, I didn't put on too much weight. But for those that are trying to, get lean and toned, I would say, make sure you know your macro breakdown. So that way it's a lean bulk, not one of those, dirty bulks where you just eat everything and then you get fat and then try to cut. Like at the end of the day, you want to look good, feel good while you're doing it.
Yes, sir. Now talking about so I know you train clients. I know a lot of people come to you about wanting to lose weight. Now, I know one of the biggest myths that people do, they always go look up how to lose weight on YouTube, and they spend a bunch of money and they say, oh, you eat this and do this, and they starve themselves or they eat too much. Could you just tell us a little bit about that and how people should go about it in case they're wondering?
Bro, see, this is actually one of the biggest reasons why is because, frankly, there's a lot of bullshit out there, right? A lot of misinformation, and that's why I took this route is due to the fact that I see people, a lot of people, maybe the ones that are listening to, is that you have that mindset where you're trying to make change, and then there's the fitness industry where they prey on you, like they prey on, like they say, okay, he's looking for change, let's sell him this product because he doesn't know anything. So it's like a lot of misinformation out there, such as like, I'm gonna spill it out, is like the detox teas, waist trainers. I've seen a lot of clients come to me with using fat loss pills or even those quick challenges out there that are just cutting out everything, and it's not sustainable. Because at the end of like you might lose 5 or 10 pounds, but you're gonna go in that yo-yo cycle where you gain it all back, and then it's like you wasted your money, and now you're upset because you're like, this thing isn't for me. So I thought of a more simplistic approach, which is where, for nutrition is what I call adaptive meal phasing. So adaptive meal phasing is a 2-part thing. And the first part is a variation of intermittent fasting, which is in simple terms, having an eating window of 6 to 8 hours for men and 8 to 10 hours for women. So that's the first phase. And the second phase is what we call carb backloading. So carb backloading is just beginning your day, good proteins, good fats, moderate to low carbs. And then carb backload is where at the end of the day is where you would have the majority of your carbs, and where you can sneak in a little bit, chocolate if you like it, or a little ice cream, due to the fact that you're in that fasted state, plus that carb backloading also helps with the fat loss process.
Got you. So just to make it clear, you said all the waist trainers, the pills, all that, the detox teas, those are not the way to go.
And it's crazy because, it's easy to see, like they give you, great promises, like they overpromise, underdeliver all the time. Is that lose 30 pounds, in 2 weeks? You gotta think about it. Like, did it take you 2 weeks to gain that 30 pounds? Like, how are you gonna healthily and efficiently lose 30 pounds in such a short amount of time? And I always tell my clients is, not to focus on just a number on the scale, because that's just your weight, bones, everything against gravity. It's not just a great indicator of success. It's more so non-scale victories, how you look, how you feel, your confidence,
the mindset.
Exactly, the mindset and outlook in life. You feel me?
So what do you think is one of the biggest challenges that you have when training clients? Like the biggest obstacles that they all run into?
Biggest obstacles. So I would say that's a 2-part, but it derives from the mindset. I always say is that what you do not believe is possible will never happen. What you do believe is possible will happen. And it comes down to your perception of this reality. So my slogan I tell my clients is that life is a canvas and you have the paintbrush. It's either you take the paintbrush and you paint the masterpiece you wanted to, or you can be in that victim mentality, that victimhood, and say, oh, I can't lose weight because XYZ. Oh, I don't have time, XYZ. So it's all the mindset and seeing, is this possible for me? And once you accept that, okay, I can change, the next steps is to just take action. Right?
Got you.
So mindset.
The mindset, got you. So bring it back to what I mentioned earlier, LionHearted Lifestyle. So I understand we talked earlier before we got on here is about like it's a program that you created. So could you tell us a little bit about that and what got you started with that?
Okay. So Lionhearted Lifestyle, like in short, is brave and determined for success. So it's all about helping you evolve and elevate into that, what I call the 2.0 version, the one that's more lean, more toned, higher energy day to day, more confident. And that's what I see that a lot of people lack in society. It is not just losing weight. It's more so living the life they really want to live, like that life that they imagine, seeing that it's possible, right? So what it's all about is more so seeing that the magazines out there, searching on YouTube and Google all day and, never seeing the right information you want, that can get frustrating to beginners or even people who are experienced. So what I did is I created a simplistic approach,
Mm-hmm.
which encounters, the minimalist method training where they won't have to spend 2 hours a day in the gym. It's a simplistic form of training that fits into their busy lifestyle. The adaptable phasing, so it's not a restrictive diet, is actually using the foods they love inside of this eating pattern.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and as well as mindset mastery. So this focuses all on removing all the negative thoughts and setting you up with a successful mindset. So that way, making and achieving your goals seems possible.
Got you. See, that's what I like because I think a lot of fitness trainers out here, they focus more on the body, but they never develop the mindset. Because I know a lot of people, even just trying to lose weight in general, they want to, but then when they look on the scale, when they look in the mirror and they see that they only lost 1 pound, they get discouraged. And then they say, oh, why bother? So they just go back to doing what they were doing before they even started training. I
Yeah,
think that's one of the biggest things that I like about your program is that you work on the mindset of developing people, having them become confident within themselves. I think that's what a lot of people overlook, especially when it comes to fitness training.
yeah, because people see it as just, okay, just give me some workouts, give me a meal plan, and no, like I could. Crazy thing, I even tested this. I gave someone a workout plan, and I gave them a meal plan for free, and I said, listen, just get back to me in 2 months, and they were in the exact same position that they were before. They didn't lose a single pound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a two-part thing. Is like I always say, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention, and two, if you don't build it into a habit, you don't build the routines, then it's going to be difficult to stick to it. The consistency won't be there.
Got you. So do you think what do you think is what I'm trying to say the most strongest or the most, so once you have a client, right? So once they when they get over that hump that you see, so when you're training a client and oftentimes they're going good and then they stumble, or they come to you be like, hey, I'm not seeing the results I want to see. So what do you think is what do people should look for when they're training? If they don't train with you, if they have another trainer and they're not seeing the results they want, what should they look for, or when should they stop training with that particular trainer, I should say?
So that's the thing, man. Like, there's a lot of terrible trainers out there, especially in all the big gyms, and people over here spending $80, $100 a session just for a workout. They don't ever tailor their customized nutrition. They don't focus on the mindset. They don't teach them anything about routines or habits. So what I would say is take a good look at the coach or trainer that you have and see if you're able to replicate what they're teaching you afterwards. So my biggest thing is teaching you the principles of reaching results. Like many of the clients that I work with use exactly what I give them, and they help their mom. They help their family members to get better. Whereas with a personal trainer, you literally just come in, you're paying for their time.
Mm-hmm.
With my experience is you're getting so much value that even after the experience, you're still getting great results and you're still able to help others get great results. So I say that's the difference, to take a good look and see, like, all right, so even after I'm done working with them, will I be able to keep it up?
Mhm.
And most people is like, I don't know, like a lot of my clients actually came from me from personal trainers because they trained with them for a couple months. Then they went home and like, I don't know what the hell to do. So then they
Yeah.
I say a personal trainer is like a more expensive quick fix. Like
Mhm.
you need a system that it's easy to follow and you need that accountability. And that's how you get those great results.
Got you. Now, this is a question I know a lot of people are going to want to answer to, because I know I don't want to give any of your secrets away to your program, but I know a lot of women, especially when they want to lose weight, they kill themselves on the treadmill. They'll be up there for hours at a time, killing themselves, and then you see them, and it's like, okay, you might lose 2, 3, 4 pounds, but then it's like you kill yourself every day. So it's like, is it really worth it? So I want to just if you don't mind, just to give a quick tip to the listeners about what they can do instead of trying to kill themselves on the treadmill.
All right, so I'm about to give you all some gems right now. So these are the hacks. I won't call it these the hacks to fat loss success, right?
Mhm.
So one, cardio is not necessary, right? Your priority should be strength training with progressive overload. Progressive overload meaning increasing weight each set and increasing weight week to week. The reason is for that is that if you just go on a strict cardio routine, yeah, you'll lose weight, but you'll look skinny fat. And I know that's not, the look that most women are trying to get.
Mhm.
Whereas I believe most women are trying to get, a more fit, toned physique. And that's where strength, you develop that lean muscle. So, those sexy muscles that women love to have, that's how you do it with strength training. And the cardio that you would do is hit cardio, not
Gotcha.
2-mile runs. And yeah, that's good for cardiovascular. Yeah, I'll give you that. But in a straight fat loss standpoint, is not necessary. Two is making sure that you're hydrated. Like a lot of women don't drink enough water. Like they just drink soda, juice, and we'll talk about the other effects that has. But you need to stay hydrated.
Mhm.
And then three is the 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So with not enough protein, what you're doing is making muscle recovery difficult. Plus, having enough protein also helps the fat loss process.
Gotcha.
So making protein, one of the top priorities in your fat loss journey is very beneficial long term. And then the third is sleep. Like people really downplay the importance of sleep. This is one
Mhm.
of the things I have to hammer down to my clients is, the sleep. That 7 to 9 hour window, it helps. There's two hormones that it balances, leptin and ghrelin. These two hormones, determine your hunger level and appetite throughout the day. So if these aren't balanced when you get enough sleep, then that's when you're hungry all the time. That's when you snack a lot, you eat more, and you never feel satiated or satisfied. But when you get all of these in check, then fat loss is almost inevitable. And the
Mhm.
fifth, most important, I would say, is the mindset. You know, and that also comes with having the right accountability with you. So whether it's a coach, a friend, or someone to kick you in your ass when you're falling off, I was
Mhm.
accountability and having that someone to push you is one of the biggest things that I see that most people need to really get to that next level.
Got you. Now I want to go back to just two of those points. Now I know I see you got your gallon of water there. A lot of people really don't look at that aspect of water. They drink juice, soda, alcohol. They think, oh, they'll be okay. I could just work it off the next day. But could you just tell the listeners, just the effects that these drinks have on you compared to just drinking strictly water?
So that's a good point because a lot of those drinks are literally just empty calories. Like, and you don't notice that those calories they add up. So you're drinking soda or a frappe or those super sugary drinks. Not only is it constantly spiking your insulin levels, which is what turns into that blood glucose, but you're also, I'd say, making it more difficult for yourself to lose fat. And those drinks are so addictive for a specific reason, right? That's why it's kind of hard for people to get off of those drinks. Is
Mhm.
when it causes you to wanting to, consume that type of food. Whereas if you're on water, you're changing your food palate, which is like on your tongue. And I would say not only the drinks aspect, aspect, but also food. So try to stick to more whole foods. Like I always tell my clients that if you look at the nutrition label, you can't pronounce what it's saying on it. You probably like if you look at it, it has 17 ingredients. You know, the more ingredients that are more confusing, the less you should be having that.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the second point where you're talking about, I see you post a lot about on your social media as well. When people eat when they're depressed or when they're sad. Could you talk about that a little bit as well?
Yeah, that's a big one. So a lot of people are aware, and most aren't aware. And what is called it stress and emotional eating. So this is when different triggers, different stimuli causes you to just pick up food and eat. Whether it's boredom, whether it's problems at the job, whether it's just turmoil in the house, things of that nature, that usually causes people to push that energy elsewhere. So in total, all that is energy. How you put that energy can either be beneficial or negative towards your goal that you have. Most people, they get stressed and they just pick up a bag of chips or pick up a cookie or something. Whereas what I teach my clients is, you want to divert that energy. So you first want to write down when you are feeling that way, when you are feeling that you're about to eat, and then redirect that energy to something productive. So I'll tell even my clients, like, just go ahead and just do some push-ups, do some bodyweight squats, go for a quick walk, clean up the house, divert that energy, even play a video game if you want to. It's just direct that energy to something more productive.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I feel like a lot of people, you don't even realize it. You're bored, and then all of a sudden you be like, oh, let me go get a bag of chips or something. And a lot of people don't realize that and they do that over time, and it becomes a habit. And then you go, let me go get a bowl of ice cream before I go to sleep. And they don't realize that when you do that and you're trying to lose weight, but you think, oh, it's just a bag of chips, or it's just one scoop of ice cream, how that really affects your body.
And over a course of time, like, that shit adds up for the weekly calories, because people only look like, oh, this won't hurt me, this won't hurt me. But then you got to think about, you're eating that on top of what you're already eating. And you don't even know, most people don't even know how much they're eating. So you're eating. Like, most people eat for fun. Like, I teach my clients to eat for fuel. They get that food freedom. Most people just eat to eat. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's kind of scary. I saw it's about 68% of Americans are actually overweight.
Oh, wow.
Like it's crazy to think about, and it's only getting worse. And I would say the biggest thing is for people to notice that, life is short. Like, my clients come from backgrounds with like diabetes, high blood pressure that's running in their family. And that's a big reason for changes, to notice that life isn't guaranteed. And you rather, in your 20s, 30s, make that shift to live a healthier lifestyle so that you can get that longevity.
Got you. And now just one more question for you. So I know some people that may be listening, they may be beginners in the health industry. And when you talk about calorie intake, they may not know how exactly that works, or if say if somebody had a plate of food, or if the package says 150 calories, like, they don't necessarily might not know what that means. So would you mind just explaining to them what that actually is?
Okay, so a calorie is just a unit of energy. So what a calorie intake is how much energy your body needs to perform bodily functions, breathing, heart, pumping, things like that, just to be sustained. And when you're in a caloric surplus, meaning that you're consuming too many calories when your body burns. Or when you're in caloric deficit, it means you're consuming less calories than maintenance. So that means that your body is burning. Mm-hmm. So a good app, is MyFitnessPal, if you want the beginners to track what you're eating. So MyFitnessPal is beautiful because you can literally just take a picture of your foods and it logs it in for you, and you can be mindful to see what you're actually putting into your body.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys are listening to that, MyFitnessPal is that app. And before I let you go, would you mind telling the listeners what a typical day is like for you? And if you have any special morning routines that you follow?
Okay. So a typical day for me is, I'll wake up around, it depends on like what type of schedule I have, if I have a lot of calls or whatnot. But I wake up roughly around 9 a.m., you know, and I wake up, I get to this water, I drink water, and what I do is called box breathing. So this box breathing is a good technique that I use to relieve stress and help me get into a grounded state. So box breathing, simply put, is inhaling for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, and then holding your breath again for 4 seconds. And then I repeat that for about, 3 to 5 minutes. And that just helps me, clear my head and become, present. Because too often people just hop on their phones and scroll on social media right when they wake up. But
Mm-hmm.
I try not to be on my phone until afternoon time. Just due to the fact that I like to be present in what I'm doing. So after then, I do a quick circuit, a quick ab circuit. So a couple variations of planks, different sit-up variations, a little stability, just to get active, get the blood flowing first thing in the morning. And then I, shower, do all the hygiene. And then what I do is I separate my day with creativity. So in the beginning, because your brain you operate in, I believe, alpha waves during the beginning of the day, which is where you're able to think, you're able to be more creative. So in the beginning of my day is when I do most of my creativity or creative work or content. And then towards, the latter end of my day is when I do most of my, tedious tasks and things like that.
Got you. And so, one more question I'd like to ask you is, what's something that you're most grateful for?
Something I'm most grateful for. I would say is the mindset that I have now on outlook on life, because one of the biggest things I learned is that everyone is living in one world, but we all experience different realities, and two people can be dealt the same hand of cards, and one person can take it to the moon and the other person can stay exactly where they are. And the only difference is the mindset that they have, an outlook and perception they have of what the world is. So my grateful thing is that I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone to realize that the world is limitless. And the only things and limitations that you have are the ones that you take on from other people's failures that they tell you, or the ones that are in your head. And once you break free, you can really grasp the world and life for what it really is. And that's limitless.
Got you. That's awesome, man. And so for the people that's listening home, how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, so the easiest way to get in contact with me is via any of my social media platforms. I'm pretty good at replying to DMs. Is it BodyByChibby, or email? So BodyByChibby. So it's BodyByChibby @gmail.com. So that's the easiest way to get in contact with me. If you're really looking forward to, learning how to, lose some fat, get more toned, if you're looking to get higher energy levels of confidence day to day, then just reach out to me. You can shoot me a DM or an email saying, what your biggest struggles are, and I'll be quick to reply to that.
All right, my man. I really appreciate you taking your time out the day to talk to me. Like I said, this is very helpful. I know a lot of our listeners gain a lot of knowledge, and I'll be sure to be in contact with you again.
All right, man. I'm glad to
I
be here.
appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or to leave us a review on iTunes or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check us out at QuinnMitchellII.com, as well as find us on Instagram for more useful content and resources.